Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. First off, I want to say welcome to everybody here. I especially want to welcome Molly because I worked with her some today. Um, I had no problem adding her to the team group simply because even though she didn't know what she was doing and she didn't have any direction or training yet, the very first thing she did was start putting ads out. And she didn't wait. She didn't, just copy and paste run of the mill. She didn't nag me for 3 hours in chat going, "What do I do?" when she didn't watch the training videos. So I want to give a shout out to you. And I know, guys, I sometimes I can be sarcastic, but I'm doing it in a joking way. But it's so important that people take what they have to begin with and run with it, and that's exactly what Molly did. So I want to give a shout out to you, Molly. And next, I want to can't talk. It's been a long day. I want to introduce Sean. He is my assistant team leader here in TeamRhino, and Molly, you probably haven't met him yet, but you may see him in the group from time to time, and
Hello.
on these weekly hangouts. So, Sean, take it away.
Hey, everybody. Molly, nice to meet you. Welcome to the team. You started out just the way I did. Just jumped right in, and that's awesome. Very glad to hear that. For everybody out there in video land, I'm Sean Bennett, videographer and graphic designer, and I am the assistant team leader for TeamRhino, along with running Digital Life Concepts. And so me and Dan have kind of been powwowing our brains together for God. It's been like 2.5 years almost now, if not more. I,
2012, I believe. Yeah.
yeah. So we've been bumping skulls and coming up with nifty thoughts and ideas and schemes and methods and all kinds of stuff for a good long time, and we've just really put together one disco kind of group, and so I'm very happy to be part of it, and very happy to be Dan's trusted me to be, his second in command, as it were, and of course help out with anything. So as Dan said, I'm in the group. I'm available. If you have questions, comments, ideas, something you're not sure about, don't be afraid to put them up on the board. If you're not quite sure about putting them up on the board, send me a message, and I will drag you into a Skype conversation and explain everything,
And never let you go.
and never let you go, and that'll be that. So.
Alrighty, well, thank you, Sean. And do me a favor, just take a couple minutes, because, guys, this is a question and answer hangout. This is for the team. This is for anybody who you'd like to invite. You all know how to use the link, or if you don't know how to use the link, then you should check our team group, hint, hint, and see how to use that link so that if you invite people and they decide they want to join us in this, then all you have to do is give them that link, and if they're watching and listening and they decide to join, then they can just go through right there, click the button under the chat box, and go straight to sign up under you because you invited them. Now, speaking of chat box, that's a very important feature that we have. That's where you ask your questions. So you can log in with Facebook, Google+, Twitter, Tumblr. There's all kinds of different services you can log in with, or just create a random username and password. That works too. So, Sean, give us a couple minutes of your story, how you started, and what kind of situation you're in, and what kind of difference it made for you.
I started out. I really was a random idea. I was just kind of bored one day, and I was looking for more income stream. I had started a small YouTube show, and had been doing affiliate type marketing, and by that I mean like selling products and things like that. And so working in that capacity. Um, I just started looking around for something new, and I bumped into a program, the same one that I met you in, Dan, and it was actually quite funny because I didn't know what the term mastermind group was at all. I had no idea. I was totally clueless to this type of business. I didn't understand the idea, the basic concept, and so I did very, very much like what it sounds like from what you described, Dan. What Molly did was I just kind of looked at what other people are doing, and just started, doing that. And I started writing ads. I think I did that for like 3 weeks, and I kept writing support, and Karin was the support at that time, so she kept getting my emails, and she's like, "Well, why don't you just, that check in the group?" And I'm like, "What group? There's a group? What are you talking about?" And I thought I didn't know I thought that was just like some. I have no idea what I thought it was, but it wasn't anything that, I didn't understand how much wealth of information was there. So from that point on, I jumped in the group and was like, "Oh my God, wow!" And I remember people telling me, "Slow down, man. You're gonna get, information overload." And I'm like, "Dude, I'm soaking this up like osmosis because it's answering. I had so many questions, and Dan's, everybody knows that I'm a big fan of notebooks and writing down, whatever concepts and ideas. And so I just got started there. And God, it's as I can't even imagine how it's just, I can't believe it's been 2.5 years. But yeah, I met Dan. I think it was probably a few weeks or maybe a couple months after I was in the first program, and we kind of like powwowed one night. I just said, "Hey, I just want to pick your brain," and that's when he adopted me after that, and we started working together, and things have kind of just been snowballing, progressively. Both my video and graphics, business they both have, helped each other. By learning marketing, I was able to learn to be a better businessman, and by doing that, I also was able to help, boost, my production quality and everything. So it just really has been an interesting experience and a really great ride.
Alrighty. Well, next I would like to introduce Dave Reinica. He's a good friend of mine from South Africa. Um, he, for those of you who are doing MCF, you know that for international users, it's a lot more difficult, and he can tell you all about that. So, Dave, give us a little bit of your story, would you?
Yeah, sure. I'll tell you how. I'll tell you the principle of how I got started and what I went through. Just for those of you wondering about making money online, I was one of those guys that was afraid to answer my phone call. I would screen my phone calls. I didn't want to answer them because I was scared of not being able to spend money with my friends. And I've always been given hand-me-downs throughout my family. I've never been able to afford anything firsthand. And so I really just wanted to do something different. I was in plenty of jobs where I know that I could have done better, but I was given the opportunity, and I was always shut down. And so when I wanted to get online, I actually saw one particular story online where a guy started to make money online, and I thought, that's what I want to do. And I got more interested into it when a good friend of mine from my country was doing exactly what I wanted to do, but he wouldn't tell me much. And so I kept on looking online, and that's when I found a good sponsor that really mentored me, that showed me what to do. But the problem that I was having is I wanted to do everything my way. And I really fell into this cycle of not really listening, but just doing what I wanted to do. And that's why mentors are so important. So as I worked, I started to get really good at, getting a lot of views on my videos, getting likes, and I found somebody online that was prepared to say, look, you give me 25 bucks, and I'll put 25 ads for you up on Craigslist. Now, here where I'm going here, because you'll understand the principle of this. He said, you give me 25 bucks, I'll put 25 ads on Craigslist. And so I did. And long story short, he said wait 12 days. And after 12 days, I started to get opt-ins. I started to get people coming to my capture page. And after about 20 opt-ins, or even 10, I think at the time, I got my first sale. I couldn't believe it. I had struggled for so long, and after 8 months, I finally got a sale. I actually broke down because I couldn't believe it was happening. And what actually happened was I started to get a lot of sales, and I got about 14 sales within 2 weeks. But then after that, my Craigslist ads just died. And once they died, I wanted to get hold of this guy again, but I couldn't find him. He had disappeared on the net. So that was really bad luck for me. But he had sent me a PDF with all of the proofs that on the particular adverts. And so what I did was I looked at the adverts, and I just did what made sense to me. And that was, if I duplicate exactly what he's doing, I'm going to get the same result. So what happened was I just figured out a way how to put an ad in my country into Craigslist and just copy exactly what he was doing, just change titles and description and whatnot. But I would copy his kind of formula and duplicate it, and I got results. And I actually got about 60 ads running for quite a while. I was producing sales all the time, but then it dissipated, and Craigslist cut me off completely. I wasn't able to do this. So I had to revert back to what I was trying to do in the first place, and that was doing YouTube marketing. But nothing was working when I was doing YouTube. So I did the exact same formula. I found somebody who was more successful than I was. I duplicated his system, and I kind of broke it down, and I worked out exactly what it is they were doing, and all I did was took the same principles and applied it. And through that same principle, that same method, I found success. And that's when things really started to go nuts for me. I actually got qualified to earn my cash freebies, and I started to see a dramatic increase in sales because I was just duplicating a strategy that somebody else has done. And it's that simple, really. All you have to do is to go through the entire system, learn it, and then apply the strategies. It's that simple. And if you can just mirror off somebody who's doing better than you, you're going to strive to a lot of success, and you're going to see a lot of success coming your way. But only if you are consistent with it, and if you are prepared to be prepared to keep learning and just doing it, because you have to go through that grind. There is no easy way around it. You cannot, for want of a better word, skip the hard work. A lot of people see huge successes in these million-dollar earners, and all they want to do is just get to the end result quickly. And I'm saying you have to go through that grind. You know, the bamboo tree, there's a thing called the bamboo, what's it called, the Japanese bamboo tree. You have to water the seed for 5 years, every single year, every single day, 365 days of the year, until the 5th year. And when it sprouts, it grows to, I think it's like 90 feet tall. And you have to put in the hard work and that grind. Because we're online, things happen a lot quicker. You know, it's not like a brick and mortar business where you have to pay like $4,000 to $5,000 to keep it open, just to keep your doors open and see a profit after 3 to 4 years or even 5 years. This can happen a lot quicker, but you have to put in the work. And that's really how I started to see success online.
Alrighty. Well, I want to touch on that point also, is that with this business, it's not a difficult business. It's not hard to do. How would I put this? It's simple, but it's not easy because you have to put that work in ahead of time. And what are you laughing at, Sean?
On the nose. I was saying that, right? Simple but not easy. That's exactly the way that I would describe it. Just to put that, Molly did ask a question about Craigslist posting, and I want to get to that here in a moment. But I definitely think that that's the best. Dave, it's a great analogy. You know, you have to water that, and you have to absorb this type of. There's no way to escape the grind, and I think that's just the quote that we could go with there. You have to do that. You know, maybe there are a few people. I know I've actually met a few people that are the ones that just skyrocket off, but as far as it goes, it is work. And Dan, I think you had a really good start. You were going there. I just laughed because you literally took the words right out of my mouth. Simple, but not easy. Uh,
Okay, yeah. Excuse me. That is so true. And that's, that's one of the reasons that they have those training videos in the AWN back office. And for my team, I want you to understand that I'm not saying anything bad about AWN. I'm really not. But I think those training videos are designed more for people that know more of what's going on or have done marketing before and have a little bit of that technical expertise. So I'm making the announcement now that I am working on a training site for our team so that it takes you from the very beginning and walks you step by step through. But as Dave said, it's very important that you are consistent. And let me just tell you a little bit about my story. When I started working online, originally I was over 2 months behind on everything. And I'm not kidding you. I'm talking about rent, lights, water, phones, insurance, everything. Excuse me. I was almost 2 months behind. And originally I had seen another business. Now that cost me $145 a month. But I jumped in with both feet. I didn't have any help. Now, for me, the problem was not the willingness to work and the willingness to do the work and go out and strike out on my own, but as you can imagine, because I've had so much experience in the computer and network industry, it's very logical, very analytical, and I had lived my whole life that way. Because when my parents got their first computer when I was 4 years old, that was it. It was over. I was stuck in the computer, and that's what I did ever since. But I didn't have a whole lot of creativity, a lot of imagination. So I was looking for something that could show me what to do step by step. And I had no idea that creativity was involved in it. And that was that was a little bit of a hard lesson to learn. But what I was doing was I was just copying and pasting ads from the back office of the program that I had originally started in. I didn't have any help. My sponsor wasn't there. It's the same story for most of the people out there. And that's why I'm so adamant about helping the people that are putting forth the effort. Now, not everybody gets into my team group, and the reason is because not everybody is willing to put forth the effort. Molly, you came right in and you got right into the team group. That's because I saw I looked at your timeline. I did. I looked at your Facebook timeline and I scrolled through and I saw post after post and your second profile, and I could see that even though you had never done this before, you were not afraid to go out and actually do the work. And you weren't, like I said, you weren't bugging me. And, the people that bug me and are unwilling to do the work, those are the people that I just don't help. Because honestly,
you should probably qualify that because there's a specific type of person that falls under the I guess we could call them tire kickers or whatever, just the people that they want it done for them, and they will spend 3 hours asking instead of 15 minutes looking it up online or just going and doing it.
Or watching an existing training video.
Right, and exactly.
That's what I want to stress is that, and that's why I'm proud of Molly. Molly, I am proud of you because, like I said, you jumped in with both feet. Even though you didn't know what to do, you jumped right in there, and I saw that effort, and that's why you got right into the group. And the reason that I joined, obviously, was because I was broke. I was behind. I was out of options. I had looked for a job in this town for over 2 years. And now I've started my own local computer and network repair business, but that was something that came later on because that's something you have to have capital to start, and so I worked my tail off, and I am not kidding you, 12 to 16 hours a day.
18 hour days, brother. I remember many, having you on Skype, and you and I were working on separate projects. And
well, actually, this is actually before I met you, Sean.
Yeah. Oh,
And
really? So
yes,
you were putting them in before? Yeah.
yes, this was the other program that I was paying $145 a month, and I wasn't
Oh,
making any money and didn't have any direction.
right.
And then when I had found a different program that was free to join, free to do, and that's what got me started. And then I did that for 2 years. And then when AWN came out and I saw how much better it performed and how much better it worked, I switched. And nothing against the old system I used to use. I mean, it looked like it was from the 60s or whatnot, and it didn't convert very well. It took a lot of work, a lot more work than AWN does. But that's where I got my start. And then when AWN launched, I was lucky enough to be a beta tester. So I was one of 3 people that actually got to use the system and check it out and find bugs. And I did. I found quite a few bugs because, I mean, that's my background. So, we got those worked out. And I had that privilege to be there when it was being built before it even went live. So, I mean, for me, that was awesome. And then now being able to be at home and work at home, that's, I can't describe it. I mean, there's just no describing that at all.
Oh,
And
it's so fantastic. Um, just to intersect, just one thing is, I right now I'm going to school full time for my bachelor's in digital cinematography at Full Sail down here in Florida, and there is no way that I mean I just meeting some of the classmates with and getting started, and I'm thinking about this and going, I can't imagine some of these people having to pull full time jobs and go work 40 hours or 60 hours a week and then try to put in 40 to 60 hours worth of classwork a week. So for me, it's an absolute godsend, because I can, literally divide my time between business and school and never leave the same. I'm in the same office, literally. I flip over. I'm working on one project, and when I'm like, okay, time to take a break on that one, and then I just hop right into another one. So it's an amazing ability to be able to do that, and I feel really privileged and very very fortunate to be able to do that.
I do want to say also that for those of you who are wondering, this team is here to help you, and Molly can vouch for that. But Molly, honestly, you didn't take all of my time today. It was only 2 hours. So, and I had the time, so it's not a big deal. But we actually got her website set up, got her WordPress set up on her hosting, and got her started with the plugins. And that's something that she's going to be building.
Nice. Is she in the syndication captain?
No, she's not in that because I want her to get her,
Got,
one
oh,
step at a
it, oh,
time,
it
baby
just
steps.
oh, it just got started, right? Oh, just literally today.
Yes, literally, we just got it set up on her hosting today. So.
Oh, congratulations, kudos! I gotta say, when he guided me through that for the first time, it was I was completely mortified and stumped and going, ooh, and now I find that between blogging and video are like my two primary, like those are my focus. She actually asked specifically about uh, advertising in Craigslist, and that was just a question she had. Thoughts?
Okay, well, I don't know what happened, but in my chat box here, I don't see the question about Craigslist. So could
Scroll
you read
back.
off that question for me?
Scroll back to it was it was just after Dave was talking. It's 18 minutes ago, 14 minutes ago. It says, "Do you all post on Craigslist?"
Okay, well, for some reason that's not in my chat window. So, but I'm glad you got that.
All
Uh,
right.
I do advertise on Craigslist. I originally started advertising marketing for my local business before I started using it for marketing. And because the competition is so fierce in San Antonio, I mean, not my town, but in San Antonio, I'm near there. I believe I have 7 Craigslist accounts that I was working with. But do I advertise on Craigslist a lot? No, not really. Every few weeks, once a month, maybe once every other month, sometimes is when I'll post. Um, I do get some good traffic from that, and I do get some good opt-ins, but it's not as targeted as I would like. And I found that most people on Craigslist are looking for, how can I say,
Free
they're
money.
looking, yeah, they're looking for free money. Now, this
That's
is not free money. This is a free system that you can work to make money and build your own business, but it's not free money. Um, and like I said, I'm willing to bend over backwards to help anybody uh, who shows the effort. And I'm hoping that my team members will also learn that, because I've noticed, and Dave, I know that you've seen this too because we've talked about it a few times, but we have noticed that if you are constantly holding people's hands and doing things for them, then you begin to create that culture in your team. So people that start with you and you help them and hold their hand constantly, and Molly, which this is not what I've done with you so far, so don't worry about that. But then when they start having people sign up, then they send them to you, and then their sign-ups get sent to you, and then their sign-ups, and before long, and I'm talking in a very short time, you end up spending all your time helping other people build their business and not making any money because you can't do your marketing. And Dave, what kind of experience have you had with that?
Oh my word! I got such a great one. Uh, about 2 years ago, I was helping a guy. Um, let's call him Jeff. Okay, so Jeff called me up. He wanted some help setting up his system, and I thought, okay, great, because when you're new, you want to make a good impression, so you want to help as much as you can. But I was taking it to the extreme. I was logging into their machine with TeamViewer. I was setting up their system. I was showing them how to use a video player. I was telling them when to, like, I would click record and they would speak, make sure the camera was set up, and I would get everything right. And I mean, it was like I was there. And then what happened? We kind of lost touch. I think because he got a promotion or something. And then 2 years later, I get a call from the same guy, and I'm like, "Hey, man, Jeff, how you doing? It's been ages. I haven't seen you, and I mean, like, we haven't spoken in ages." And he says, "Yeah, man." I said, "So what you doing?" And he tells me what business he's in. I said, "That's great. So what do you, how are you marketing?" And he said, "Well, I'm supposed to do this video marketing." I said, "And how's it going?" And he says, "Well, do you think you can log into my computer and uh, I kind of, it kind of just like a big bucket of cold water just poured right over me, and I just realized what I had done to that person. Because when you start to do that, you are taking people by the hand, and you're not really giving them, you're actually being cruel, all right? So when somebody is asking you a question and they want you to do all the work for them, and this is exactly why Daniel says he won't really initially help a person, because he wants to see what you're capable of. And here is a rule of thumb that I've noticed in 100% of the cases that I've seen. Right? Every person that I've taught to develop an income online, every single successful person, they have joined and kind of just run with it. They've got a little bit stuck. They contacted me, I helped them, and they just ran with it some more. Every single person that spoke to me for an hour, asking me 100 questions, wanting me to do all the work for them, every single one of them has failed. And I can say that because in 2 years that I've been in this industry, I've seen a lot of people that have succeeded, and I've seen a lot of people that have failed purely because they weren't prepared to plant that Chinese bamboo tree. They weren't prepared to go through the grind. And that is the one thing that is consistent with all the success stories, is that they take consistent action and they work out most of it on their own. And you know, the great thing about the system that you're using in AWN is that they have a system that works, and they can teach you 100% of the information that they know, all right? So what better source than to go to the actual system that's going to teach you that? And it's like if I taught Daniel something, he would only remember about 50% of what I told him. If he taught Sean something, he would only remember 50% of what Daniel told him. And so it just kind of gets watered down right to the end when the 10th person's got 1% of the information which I originally taught, you know? And so you want to continually bring people back to a system that is actually producing results for people. Okay, you know, AWN is successful, and there's a reason it's successful, because people are following the system. So you just got to plug yourself back into the training all the time.
I agree with that 100%. You know, when I went through the training initially, I went through it, I looked at it, and I said, okay, some of this I know, but I'm going to watch the video. I'm going to let the video play, because there may be something here I'm not familiar with, or whatever. And I ended up going through it. I think I've said this before. I ended up going through the entire system about 30 times. And so when someone could ask me, you know, would ask me a question and say, you know, X, Y, Z, you know, I could literally say that's in video 6 at 7 minutes and 30 seconds in. You know, or so on and so forth. Dave, I would like to hear, if you don't mind sharing it, the story that you were telling me about that really great success story that you told me about. The gentleman, I think he was law enforcement, but he sat down and said, "This is a job I will spend 8 hours doing it," and I think he was blogging, and he hated blog. I love blogging. I don't mind it at all.
Right.
But he hated it. But he said, I'm going to sit down and do it for a certain amount of time. And
Yeah.
tell me about it. Share that one.
There
Will you?
was a guy that was in police enforcement, was getting paid $26,000 a year for being a police officer. I think it was, I can't remember where, but this is the true story, because I know this person personally. I just don't want to mention names. Anyway, so he had a tremendous, like a horrific accident. Not an accident. He was mauled by a dog and nearly beaten to death, where he almost died, and he broke his neck. And as a result of that, he was not able to be in law enforcement for you know, indefinitely. He wasn't able to do it, and he was in hospital, and he had heard of of somebody that was making money online through one of the police officers that he knew, and all he did was he typed in something like, because she was just filling out insurance forms and making money online, so he just typed in insurance, make money online, and he found a system which is not too different to this, and he tried to do the system, and he struggled for a very long time until he decided, you know what, I've got to stop treating this like a hobby and start treating this like a business. I've got to actually decide, I've got to take ownership of this, and I've got to take responsibility for my actions, because nobody else is going to do this except me. And the thing is, if you go and work for anybody in any sort of job, the mindset you have as an employee is this: give me everything for free so that I can just do what you tell me. But when you own your business, you are responsible for your domain hosting, your blog, your advertising techniques, where you get your traffic, the techniques that you use. Nobody is giving that to you. You have to change that mindset. And when you change your mindset, that's when things start to really click for you. And that was the same for me in the 8 months that I didn't make any money online, because I didn't have the concept of saying, you know what, if I want to make this work, I've got to take the strategy and I've got to implement it. I can't wait for people to just hand me give me handouts all the time. The only way that we've seen any success between the three of us is because we took responsibility for our business. Is that what you were looking for, Sean?
That was the goal, but I just love that the concept of where he made the decision, and that's
Yeah.
the concept of choice, and we've spoken about this before, is just saying, okay, yes, Dan has made a great point. This is a free system to join. It doesn't cost anything. There's free training, and there's a lot of it. And yeah, it can get a little tedious if you're, or it can be even overwhelming at some points. But it's extremely valuable information, and it's there, and it's it's just such it's really, to me, it's great. I love the fact that I can go into there and see exactly how, and then that way, by watching it and going through it, I know, okay, I should probably make a little add-on video and have that on my blog or on my website or whatever, and say, okay, just in case if anybody wasn't clear about this, this is how you do this part here, or so on and so forth. But the as I said, it's not free money, free system, and you really get back what you put into it. So if you're like you said, this gentleman sat down and he said, I'm gonna dedicate XYZ amount of time,
He decided. Yeah, he decided to work it like a business. So he
yeah,
worked 8 hours
like he
straight.
would like he would normally be going to work, and that that's I applaud him, because I have my own systems. We all have our own schedules, and that can run rather mad, I believe.
Lack of schedules, yeah.
Lack of schedules. We just are kind of running rampant, but I think that it's really important that people, that you do develop a system, develop a little bit of a schedule, and say, okay, whatever, sit down, get a calendar, log into Google Calendars, and make out a little bit of a regimen, because at least that's what helped me a lot, because I'm very bad with. I don't like appointments. I don't like, oh, I have to go do that. I don't want. No, I want to go play with my graphics. I want to go play with this. I want to go do this thing. So I have to be, kind of very disciplined about that, and remind myself. And so I think that's it's just a really good point, that you really hit the nail on the head, where you said that everybody that's got some advice and said, hey, great, thanks, and off they go. And they are the ones that have become successful, and that are still, here and working and doing their thing. And then there's the ones that, and again, I'm not like knocking anybody that ever needs help. I will spend all day, if I have the time, I will spend all day on Skype walking somebody step by step through every bit of knowledge that I have.
There is a culture you have to implore, and the culture is go back to the training.
Yes.
The one thing that always that I find with my students, I've actually seen this on a Hangout, where somebody will say something like, I've asked Dave, but he keeps taking me back to the training. And he's absolutely right. I've actually seen that in a Hangout, because of that, it kind of, you develop that culture. So when somebody calls you, you should be saying to somebody, go to the training. You should be doing that. And if they have gone through the training, and then they say, well, what are you struggling with? And they give you come on, you guys have got to know this example like 100 times before. If somebody says to you, where do I get a domain? and they say they've gone through the training. Give me a break. Seriously? I mean, it's so obvious where you're going to find it, and you obviously haven't gone through the training. And I have seen people say on the phone, you obviously haven't gone through the training, and people think you're just being harsh, but you're actually being kind. But if you have something like, I can't find where to put, where do I mask my domain, or what do the numbers mean? You know, like
Yes.
the permanent numbers. What do they mean? Then you know they actually do have a question, and you can work with them.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I mean. Daniel, you were saying?
Yeah, I think that's a good one. Sorry, Dan. Go ahead. He had sparked an idea, but I don't want to interrupt. Just didn't want to lose it.
Well, I was actually thinking about, and I asked Molly if I could share the photo she sent me earlier because I wanted to give an example. And I know I'm bragging about you a lot, Molly, today, but it's the example that I wanted
Can
to
she
give.
come on the Hangout next week? Molly, you
Yeah,
want to be on the Hangout next week?
she works nights, I believe. So right
We could.
now she's doing this at work, I believe.
Well,
So
Molly, your
she may
Oh,
not
top's
be
in
able
my
to do
book.
that. What's
we'll
that?
figure it out.
As a Molly, your top's in my book, and you couldn't be in better hands than being under Daniel's leadership. I know he's helped me tremendously in my business, and I know he's helped Sean, and I know Sean is somebody that you want to refer to. These guys really have your back, so if you have any questions, just go straight to them.
I
Thank
would
you for
have to
that.
agree. We are actually. Oh,
We're
she
pretty
didn't go to
close.
work. Okay. Well, either way, Molly, if you don't mind, I'd like to share that photo as an example, but I'm going to wait for your permission first because of the content, the other people that are in the photo. But when I saw this photo, and whether or not she says it's okay to show it, it
She did.
doesn't really matter. But did
She
she?
replied. Yeah, she replied. It's in the same one about not going to work. Ha ha ha. Sure. Forgot about that. You can.
Okay. That's really weird because apparently
I
I
think
was getting
you're
some of the
maybe
messages.
something's lagging on your side. I don't
That could be. But
know.
either way, let
You
me.
have.
I want to show you this because she is a perfect example of what I'm trying to say. Okay.
Okay.
Um,
Show me what
now
you're
this
trying to say with this perfect example.
this is how she was working today. She was a little bit frustrated because she was trying to figure things out, and she was going through information overload. She really was. We got the hard part of her blog set up, so now all she has to do is log in and blog. That's the good part. But this
I can't see
picture,
anything.
you can't see the chat box?
No, I can't see the picture that's shared on the Hangout.
That's because I haven't shared it just yet. I haven't gotten to that. But
Okay. All right.
uh, she seemed to me like she was pulling her hair out, and this is the way that she was working today. And Molly, I can 100% understand that and why
I took
why
a
it's hard
person
to
with 5
concentrate.
arms and spiked hair all the way. Like, come on, the suspense is killing me.
Okay, well it's being shared right now, so
No, it
you
ain't.
guys see it?
No,
Huh.
you suck.
You should get an RT on that.
Yeah, keep it up, Dave. Keep it up.
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I just played
There
with
we
Daniel.
God.
Now you should be able to see it.
Oh my goodness. She was
I can't see it. I can't
she
see it.
was well,
Well, Dave, if you click on my video feed
Oh,
in the
there we go.
bottom,
There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go.
yeah, that's how she was having to work today, and
yeah, someone else was pulling your hair out.
my heart goes out to you because I've been there, I've done that, and I know how hard it can be. But she kept going. That's the point. She kept going until she got it. And, okay, Sean, not the sound man. Okay, but she kept going with it, and she didn't stop. She kept going until she got it. And I had other things to do. I had to go get my youngest off the bus and then come back, and then I had to go do some driving, run some errands, and the whole time, I was chatting with her on Facebook with the phone. Not while I was driving, of course. I don't want anybody to say, "Hey, get him a ticket." So, but and I was really impressed, especially when I saw that picture, and I was like, I was laughing to myself. I was like, been there, done that. That's why she was having such a hard time, at least part of it. But trust me, I also know that children can be a joy as well. We've got 15 more minutes, so Molly, if you have any questions, anything you want to ask us, then shoot.
I God, Dave brought up a good point. So while she's formulating a question, I'd like to bring up this thing, the what he said about uh, being continuously referred back to the training. Okay, a this is not just marketing tactics. Okay, guys, this is not just like you said, it's not just harsh training or tough love or any of that. This is real life. Okay, right now working on my bachelor's, and when we have a question, now granted, I think that in my opinion, the instructor should have a little bit more to say on a subject, but the default answer to every question you ask is going to include read the instructions. Literally every question. It's a signature when and it's funny, and so at least this one, and so I go through, and now the instruction, we get all the instructions in PDF format and the exact grading scale, so we know it well in advance what how they want it laid out, and sometimes we need clarification. Okay, how this way or is it this way? But they always say read the instructions, and it's infuriating. But it's also because we're like overcomplicating everything, and it's just like, okay, make a presentation, make it this long, and have it do this, and it's like, but what if we blah 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 blah? I'm like, okay, make a presentation, make it this long, and have it say this. That's what it said, and this is how you'll be graded on it. So make sure you put this stuff in it too, and from that point
Yeah,
on, and it's the creative school I'm going to, so people that are going in for such specificity, we get deferred right back to the training in exactly the same way.
yeah, that reminds me of something that I had come across last night when I was making dinner, because we decided. Now I'm used to making Mexican rice from scratch, so chopping up, you know, first of all, browning the rice with oil, dry rice, and then you're chopping up the onion and the bell pepper, and you add it in and add the tomato juice, yada yada. So we decided to try these little packets. And now my wife is Mexican, that's why I can say this, because we joke about each other's race all the time. But I was laughing hysterically because when I read the instructions, when I looked at the packet on the top right, it said tips. And the very first thing it says, read the instructions. The second thing it said was, use a measuring cup. And that is such a perfect picture of this business, because it's a picture of this business because you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You take the instructions, you follow them, and you do exactly, you use the measuring cup. Here's the procedure that works.
Yeah.
Here's the
Recipe.
the basic framework. So follow that, and you'll get perfect rice every time. And I have to admit, it was great rice, but I was laughing hysterically because she said, "Well, Mexicans don't read directions. Why would they read that? They still wouldn't know." So I got a
Oh
real
my,
kick out of that.
oh my gosh! I saw the same thing on a box of toothpicks once. I thought that was kind of funny. There was instructions on a box of toothpicks.
There was I don't know if this makes, we were talking about having a why in your business. Um, and I watched this incredibly inspiring video, and I don't know if you guys relate to this, but But basically, it was a comedian that went on stage and he was trying to explain the difference between your what and your why. And so he said, people ask me what I do, and I say, well, what is it I do? He says, well, I'm a comedian. I write books. I go to the movies. I have dinner with my friends. That's what I do. What is my why? He says, my why is, I want to give people a sense of purpose and a direction so they can be fulfilled. That's his why. And so he's sitting down in front of the whole audience, and he says to this guy, he says, do me a favor, would you mind singing? He says, what do you do for a living? He says, I'm a music director. So he says, okay, would you mind singing Amazing Grace? He says, okay. So he starts singing Amazing Grace, and he starts singing in this, this very okay sounding Amazing Grace, And then he said to him, he said, okay, now what I want you to do is I want you to sing Amazing Grace in the version of your uncle has just been released from prison for 30 years for a crime he didn't commit. And, now sing the version of Amazing Grace. And he started singing, but this time he was singing it like, with all the high chords and everything, and he was just going crazy, really getting the whole crowd riled up. And he says, well, you see, that's the difference. What is he singing? He's singing Amazing Grace in the beginning. But why is he singing it now? Because it's got so much more meaning, and that's the difference. You have to develop your why as to why you want to do your business. You've got to figure out that why and realize that you have a purpose. So why do you actually do this? Why do you actually want to focus on your business? Is it your kids? Is it the fact that, like, my why is I don't want to be a burden on anyone in my family because my family really has a hard time on their own. And when I was faced with a statement from my brother-in-law that said, I can't look after you, that kind of really hit me hard. And from that moment onwards, I didn't want to ever be a burden. So the reason why I drive myself every single day is because I do not want to be a burden on my family, on my friends, and I really want to provide them with a way that can be a lot easier for them, if that makes sense. I hope that does. Back to you, Daniel.
It does. It makes perfect sense.
That's if you haven't found the why yet, I think that's something that I think, but Dan, that's got to go into the basic training, man. Like on the site, that should be in there. We should just put a little bit of that in there.
See, here's my thing about that, because people that don't have a why,
they wouldn't.
will never go through the training. The people that have a why, you don't have to tell them to go through the training. And it's kind of like I was saying. I was watching a show, and there's a character on the show that said something that just resonated within me, and even though it was 2 seasons ago on Netflix, I still remember it. And that is that it is impossible to explain faith to somebody that doesn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
But if they do have faith, then there's no need to explain it. And that's kind of like the same thing here. If you already have your why, you're going to go through that training because you've already got your purpose and you're working towards it, and you're not going to take no for an answer. Now, if you don't have your why, the people that don't have the why, those are the people that are more difficult to get into the training, and you have to tell them over and over, go back to the training, go back to the training. I watched the video, but it didn't make sense. Well, what part didn't make sense?
Like the dog walking gentleman. My infamous story of the dog walker.
Yeah, and that's another perfect example. And I know that these team hangouts are new, and for those team members who are going to see this later, because I know that I have team members from all over the world, and they, some of them are asleep right now, some of them are at work. It's different times during the day, during the night. So for those of you that actually do come and watch this hangout, that's one of the most important things you can do other than doing the training, because this is where you can actually ask questions, get answers, because other people have the same questions. There's other groups that I've been in that you will see the same question asked 10 times a day, and it's in the first video of the training. So,
It's the first sentence of the training of the first video.
and
It,
people, those people need to realize that I'm not, see, I don't work for anyone else. I work for me. I am my employee. I am my own boss. So when people like they did to Dave, when that gentleman said he wanted him to log into his computer, set it up, click record, and it's it's like another gentleman I was talking to today. Some of you know the story of True Tech and why I had put internet marketing on the back burner for a while. And the gentleman that I stopped working with because of that with True Tech, he actually had another friend of mine that started working with him. Now, he did the same thing to him, but even worse, because he treated him the same way and didn't pay him for a month and a half. And I'm sorry, but nobody's going to work for free. And, we had the discussion a little bit earlier today because they moved into a different place and had trouble with their dryer, and I know a little bit about electrical. So I went to go give him a hand with that, and we were talking about this guy, and he said, I wouldn't even have cared if I got paid 10 or 12 bucks an hour just to be a driver because that's all I did. But the simple fact of the matter is I was spending all day, every day, driving him around and doing all these things and not making a dime. And I understand perfectly. I agree with him 100%. Excuse me. But I mean, that's the thing about this business. You work for yourself. You really do. And when you work for yourself and you're serious about it and you really want to make, you have that why. You want to
you'll
make the
never
income
work hard.
because blank. Then those are the people that, like I said, Molly hunkered down, got right into it, didn't know. I'm I don't want to say that she didn't know what she was doing because she was actually doing attraction marketing with the posts on her Facebook wall. So that's a good thing. And Molly, you were doing it right. But I mean, you didn't know you hadn't learned attraction marketing. You just
She
looked at other
invented it,
people,
as far as she was concerned.
yeah, pretty much, and
Yeah.
she looked at other people and just followed their example.
Yeah.
And that's one of the best things to do. And when I was doing video marketing, what I would do, I would go to the business that I was in at the time. I'd look at the leaderboard. I would take their names, go to YouTube and search their names, look at their channels, and I'd go through and watch hours and hours and hours of their video, taking notes on the structure of their video, like how they structured it, any psychological points I noticed, uh, you know, colors, and even the cinematography, as I mean, if you would call it that. I don't remember what it's called, but a lot of the more successful people practice this because most people have an attention span of 5 seconds or less. Believe it or not, it's less. The average American has an attention span that's shorter than a goldfish, and that is not a joke, that's research. But what they would do is they would stop the camera and they'd be over here and they'd be talking for a few seconds, and then it would switch to over here, and they would just continue, back and forth, and they would do other things that would
Movement.
grab visual attention, and it would bring the person back to what they were saying and back to the video, and it was just an
Yeah.
excellent thing to do. That's one of the things that I learned by watching other people, and
Jump cutting. It's called jump cutting.
Yep.
jump
And
cutting. That's
yeah, I was. Yeah, he just beat me to it. And just for fun, if you guys are whoever's watching, next time you watch a movie, count how long they hold any one scene, and you'll find that rarely, unless it's a very, very specific scene, will they hold a scene longer than 7 seconds.
7 seconds. Yeah, that's right.
7 seconds is
why.
about the longest they will hold one particular shot. Like this shot right here, me talking, boom, we cut to Dave, and then boom, we cut to Dan, boom, we cut back to me, and it's because that's what keeps everything fresh and new, and it keeps the audience it keeps the audience engaged. It's also a 3-act structure. I'm not going to go into the whole thing, but basically think of it as a beginning, a middle, and an end. And
Okay, well, Sean, before
gonna-
getting too specific into video marketing, I just want to continue with the idea here is that look around and see what other successful people are doing and do the same things. And always put yourself in the place of the person watching. Because a perfect example I like to use is Hi, my name is Daniel. I found this great business opportunity. Nobody wants to see that on a video. And when they get that feeling, I mean, they get bored. They want to click away from it. Think about your reactions. And it's not just on video. It's on Craigslist ads. What is it? What comes across in that ad? And that's why I always tell people put your own personality into it. Be unique. Have fun with your business because when you can stay home and do what you want to do when you want to do it and still get all the bills paid and have fun while you're working, I mean, you
Mm.
can't beat that. You really can't. And when you have fun, it shows.
Yes.
Well, we've hit our time limit, so is there anything else you want to add, Dave?
No, I think you've hit the nail on the head. You've got to remain and be yourself, and be yourself on camera. Don't fall into as it's very funny. I won't take long, Daniel. But when people get on camera for the first time, I don't know if you've ever seen the show called The Office, even the British version, the American version. Very often when we get on camera, that's exactly how we act. We 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 suddenly think we're on stage, and now's the time to tell everybody your wisdom, and it always fails. And you kind of just get on there and you just speak in this robotic tone. But then when you call them up, they'll be like, "Man, I'm having a really difficult time on camera. I don't know what the heck I'm doing. Do you mind giving me some advice here?" And you feel like you just want to record them and say, "Speak like that." Anyway, that's it.
Yeah. You know, if it requires literally just pretending that you're talking to a friend or to a video journal entry, or whatever method you want to use, to feel at home and feel natural. Because like Dan said, that hi, my name is Sean, and I would love to tell you about this. That I've clicked away already
And
because
I want to make a suggestion that has worked for me to begin with, and I've given that suggestion to lots of other people, and it's always worked for them as well. Find somebody you're comfortable talking with. This is my daughter. She's my
Hmm.
oldest daughter. And so you see the tape on the back of there? I don't know if you-
Hmm.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just stick it right above your camera right there, and you talk to her. You talk to her just as if you would be talking to her in person. That's just one of the things that I suggest to people, and that's why it's on my computer now because how I used to. That's how I started doing videos.
That's a fantastic method, man. That's really it.
Yeah, find what works for you. Get out of your comfort zone, and it's funny to say that because when you start getting out of your comfort zone on a regular basis, getting out of your comfort zone
It's
becomes comfortable. It really does. It used to be. I mean, I used to sing. I sang bass for years and years, and I could get up in front of 2,000 people and sing backup or lead vocals, no problem at all. When I started this and I had to make a video with just me in front of the camera looking at my own face, wow, it's totally different ball game. So
really. See, I would not have thought that it would be that. I mean, live crowd, 2,000 people, no problem. A webcam connected, there's no one in the room, and you become proclaimed
yep.
for life.
So
It's but that but you know that's normal, and that's just a part of we learn and we grow from that.
time to move my trash
Um,
can.
it's interesting. I didn't. All this time, I didn't
So,
know you used
so
this.
one of the things you could do right now, if you've got this particular video with your URL, your username at the end of it, go ahead and send this to your list. Go ahead and do that, all right? Because this is one way that you can actually spread the word, as it were, and you can just tell people about what you learned. Or take the information you learned from this and go and blog about it. Or take the
Not,
information you learned from this and make 10 different videos. You know?
that's
And
absolutely
make
right.
those 10
And you
different
can
blogs.
and you can also take that link and put it on your social media, your Facebook, like you were doing.
Yeah.
And you can actually promote this Hangout link. and
Mm.
have people join under you because they get to see what kind of people they'll be working with. They see that we're real people. We might be crazy and weird, but we're real people. And you can,
we're real crazy and we're
yeah,
real weird and real crazy.
so take this link, use it in your, with your username on the end, of course, because we don't want your signups to get under us. But put it on Craigslist, put it on Facebook, put it on YouTube, with your video, and give it a little short introductory video. This is what I've found. It's a great way to work online at home. It doesn't cost anything for the system itself. And hey, if you want to, see what kind of people we work with, check out this link too, because the link on this page will direct people to sign up underneath you when you invite them, when you use that link correctly. So my only stress to you is make sure you use this Hangout link correctly, because if you don't, if you mistype the username, or if you don't have a username on there, it's going to default to me. So just the reason that is because it's my site, my server, and Google search results. So that's another way that I can bring people in, is because I use this Hangout page as well, and I promote this. So definitely do that. If you have any questions, guys, feel free to leave the questions in the chat box here, or you can email them to me or post them in the group, and we can always cover them on next week's Hangout too, because this is going to be a weekly thing. Now the panel may change, other people may come and share their stories or whatnot, because, for example, Dave, we're not even in the same business, but we work together a lot. We help each other out as much as we can.
Yeah, same principles.
Oh, and speaking of which, I just want to share this with my list.
Uh-oh.
Something we're working on
Oh,
that's totally different and has nothing to do with business.
okay.
Dave, you said about a year ago, right? You tried the Moruga scorpion pepper?
Yeah.
Yeah, so he took the challenge. You have to chew the pepper for 30 seconds, swallow it, and then go 5 minutes without anything to eat or drink. Well, that is at the time it was the third hottest, right? Or second?
Yeah, something like that. It was the second hottest. Right
I
now
don't know. What is the hottest?
Well, that's what Dave challenged me on. What he did was he ordered seeds for the Carolina Reaper. That is the hottest pepper in the world. It can go up to 2.6 million on a Scoville scale.
Wow.
Yeah, so he challenged me to do this challenge with him live on a broadcast.
Oh my God.
We're gonna do that. So
are we? Oh my God.
But check this out. We
Listen.
not only are gonna do it, but let me put it in my lower third here so that people can get the address.
Yeah.
And Dave can put it on there too if
Do
you
it
want.
live on the air.
We are going to do it live.
Oh my God. Okay, listen. I highly suggest you both have friends nearby with phones to call medical personnel, because
Nobody's ever died. Nobody's ever died doing this. The only person that
yeah, well, there's
died.
a first time for everything, guys, and I don't want to lose two of my best friends.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, just so you guys know, if anyone wants to go look at the site we put together, because we actually made a challenge out of this, and Dave and I are good friends. So all the trash talking we do on Facebook and back and forth in the videos, I mean, it's for fun, okay? And we both know this, so don't think that we're making each other mad or whatnot. But if you look at my lower third there, right under my name, it's www.dave- which is the hyphen, the minus sign, vs versus -daniel.tk, and there's the the videos that we've put together so far. We're going to be adding more. We're going to add the rules because I counter challenged Dave, and because
I got to get back to him.
Sorry, say again.
Sorry? No, it's fine because Daniel counter challenged me with something, so I got to get back to him. So I've got a video I've got to make in response to that, but it's coming, Daniel. Don't worry. I'm just.
It has been.
Okay,
it's going to be awesome. It's going to be absolutely awesome.
That's nuts. I saw the video of the pepper you ate, Dave. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, for those of you who don't know me very well, I know Dave has a hard time believing it, but almost nothing is spicy to me, and I don't know why that is. I don't know if it's body chemistry or what, but I can eat habaneros raw all day long, and it doesn't do anything to me. The worst thing that's ever happened to me from any kind of pepper, I don't remember the name of it, but it's a large green one, and it was supposed to be very hot, but it still didn't create any heat. It made my eyebrows itch. So so far that's all I know to look forward to. But Dave and I have ordered the seeds. Once we get them in, we have to grow them, and they can't go through the mail in U.S. as a fresh pepper for obvious reasons because it's too dangerous. So we've ordered our seeds. We're going to grow these peppers. It can take, on average, it takes 120 days. In my situation, since I'm going to have to grow mine inside, it might take a bit longer. But what I actually did was I counter challenged him because I was thinking about it, and I'm like, hey, wait a minute. If we both eat this pepper and we both make it for 5 minutes, who wins?
Okay.
So
someone,
So we can either, because you want to hear my counter challenge?
Yeah, I lay it out, guys. I gotta hear this.
sneak peek.
Yeah.
So my counter challenge is that if we go for 5 minutes and none of us have gone for the ice cream, that we take another pepper.
Oh my God! Are you you two are mad? You're absolutely mad.
I will accept that under the condition that my original counter challenge still stands, and that's that you keep going until one of us caves.
Wait. So it's gonna be eat a pepper, 5 minutes, no bread, no milk, no nothing. And if both of you make it that 5 minutes, you have to eat another pepper. And you keep doing this until you either run out of peppers or someone falls over?
Actually, what Dave was telling me...
I love... You guys are absolutely insane. I love it. I love it.
Dave knows a little bit more about the peppers than I do, and I'm going to have to start doing some research so I can learn about it. But he says that the heat builds for 15 minutes. So instead of 5 minutes, I think we should see if we can go 15. And if we both can, then we go for another one and another one every 15 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, that actually might. But, yeah, I know this pepper is crazy hot.
It's the hottest pepper in the world. Dave, I do want to say one thing. And this is not any pun intended or a heat joke or anything, but you are toast, buddy.
Oh!
Give me a break. You're not even the half of it, man. You know, when I was about, I must have been about 14. We had you know, the ambulance that come up to the school and they show up all the gadgets and whatnot, and we had this oxygen goodie that you would put over your finger to see how much oxygen's in your blood.
Yes.
And they asked us to hold our breath. So I held my breath. And everybody had gone for a certain amount of time, and I just wanted to beat everybody. And the paramedic asked me to stop breathing because my lips were turning blue. So just to give you an idea, I have a really high tolerance.
Okay. So...
Let me remind you also that I'm just saying. Okay, let me remind you also that I am the man that had a kidney stone of 8 millimeters that was blocking the ureter and almost had kidney failure for 3 weeks before I went to the hospital.
Yeah. He thought that.
Just saying.
What do you take an aspirin for that? Just needed a glass of just a glass of water, and I'll walk it off.
Actually,
I'll rub some dirt on it. Be fine.
Actually, for me, it was a bad choice because it resulted in me having to have 5 surgeries to correct it all.
Wow.
You shook it off. It was great.
Because I actually when I was looking into this before I actually did the whole thing with the Moruga scorpion, 7-pot brain strain. I was looking into like what are the dangers of it, and there was a guy who we watched actually, Daniel, Ted, the private breathing idiot. He was telling people how they could get into this type of business, and he was saying that in all the accounts of people eating peppers, there's only been one account of a guy dying, but he was like I think in his 90s, and you know, he had a heart attack because of how old he was, but. It was such a fluke situation.
Well, I can tell you 100% for sure. My digestive system is rock solid. My heart's rock solid, so we'll be good to go.
The only thing I
We'll
would
be good
worry
to go.
about would be allergies to peppers, and since neither of you seem to have ever displayed any allergies to peppers in the past, I think you're both relatively safe.
This is going to be
So
awesome. This is
I
going to be
am,
absolutely.
yeah, wow.
It's gonna
All
be a
right.
blast, dude. I'm gonna have so
Um,
much fun with this, and I'm especially having fun with the trash talking in the videos. It's fun.
I
Just give me a moment to get my I'll get because I need to get some sleep soon because I've been up for 3 nights in a row and it's
So
been a bit
Dave, the
wild for
24-hour marketer, has turned into Dave, the 72-hour marketer.
me. No, but I mean, can you imagine seriously like how much fun this is going to be? Because even though we might be in writhing pain, we both really, really, really just want to win. It's just going to be insane.
Yes,
I
we
think we're
both
gonna
have our
crash
why.
another server, dude. I think we're gonna crash this. We're gonna crash a server again because I know that I'm gonna tell everybody I know to come in to the hangout just to see you guys pretending to not sweat this out, because each of you has a diehard.
Well,
Uh,
if, I got to tell you, if
I'm gonna
anybody
win.
wants to help promote it, if anyone wants to help promote it, you're more than
Oh,
welcome
you
to.
know I'm on
But
that.
but
I'm
make sure that
graphics.
people make sure that people know that on the side they can subscribe. So every time me or Dave makes a post, they can follow it post for post.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I think we should make a special. We'll have to talk more about this in a hangout geared toward this as we do promote it and as time goes on. But I think that this is something very special. You guys are mad,
Yeah, we're
just
gonna
mad.
have fun with it.
You guys are
And on the
nuts.
side, you just
Just
want to say you're still going down, Dave.
Oh, please, give me a break. I live in South
oh,
Africa, man. We got
okay.
real heat here.
Yeah, Molly and I
Alrighty,
will
well,
be sitting here, with the commentary section of the show while we watch you two stare each other down and chew away at these peppers,
the demons, yes.
these
And
demons. Uh, so the
whoever
link
goes to
that's
the website,
on the link that you have in your lower third right now is the one that will take us to the challenge info.
yes, that's the
Yeah.
website. And I
Okay,
can
good.
say that we're not going to crash this website because this is my server at home that this website is on. So I know that I'm not sharing it with 300 other websites. But
Right, there we go. All right, well,
yeah,
good
Dave,
deal. So when we get
thanks.
another 25,000 people in here to see it happen, it's gonna be good stuff.
Yeah, Dave, I don't know if you knew about this, but one of the hangouts we had done before, we had several people with big lists that invited everybody to hangout. So
Mhm.
because we're using the hosting company, there was so much traffic, almost 25,000 hits simultaneously,
Wow.
Yeah,
that the server crashed. And it took us like 20, 30 minutes to finally get the hangout going and more people could reload the
it
page and
was.
actually have it load. It was
Yeah, it was
crazy.
still running on YouTube. So while Dan's like frantically doing all his magical technical stuff, I was, I'm kind of stalling for time and bringing whoever, go to this YouTube, go to the YouTube because like the chat, it was at the time the chat was still separate, so we were able to move some people over to YouTube and then back. But it was
Okay, well,
impressive, I guess, in that. So,
yes, it was.
well, I look
But I want to
forward to
go.
seeing this link. So,
Well, I want to go ahead and wrap this up. So, Molly, I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your questions. And for those of you who are going to watch this hangout later, do your best to be here when we do have the hangouts weekly, because this is a weekly team meeting. Yes, you can bring your prospects as well, but it is a team meeting. So do your best to be here, because there's always people with a wealth of information, and if we don't have it, I guarantee we'll find it for you. So I just want to say good night, Dave and Sean, and thank you both for being here and for helping me out with this.
thanks for inviting me as always.
Cheers, guys.
Y'all have a good night.
Take care.